Hi, this is Mark Ittleman, the speech pathologist who can make a rock talk. And welcome to our website. Hey, take a look around. We're really excited about this. We've been working on this hour after hour after hour, and we hope that you enjoy it, and we hope that you can come by every week or so as you learn more and more and more about speech pathology and what we're doing and what you can do to help your loved ones speak better. I'm very passionate about this. I've been doing speech pathology for 40 years, and I've been working with a lot of people and a lot of caregivers and speech pathologists and training them in our new method. Now, there's a lot of new information coming out in the literature just about every day. Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book, and he reported to the American people something that all of us have always known, but probably haven't really thought about a whole lot, and that is the ability to become an expert. He states that if we want to be an expert at anything, or if we want our children to be experts or great athletes or anything like that, that we have to put in at least 10,000 hours of learning whatever it is we have to learn to make that happen. And during that 10,000 hours, we're going to make lots of mistakes and correct those mistakes and then do it over again. Now, after I read this, I thought, wow, 10,000 hours. Then I thought, gosh, there are lots of speech persons, people with speaking difficulties, who could use 10,000 hours of speech and language stimulation. And these are people who have very severe to profound speaking difficulties. Now, there are speech difficulties that can be remediated in a very short period of time. These are usually mild difficulties, and they may take 2 or 6 months of traditional speech therapy. And it may not even be the case in some patients with a moderate to profound speaking difficulty. The length of time that it takes to correct a problem varies, but there's a basic rule of thumb that I've learned through the years, and that typically is the more severe a problem is, the longer it takes. And that's been my personal experience working with literally hundreds of stroke patients with moderate to profound speaking difficulties as a result of aphasia or head injury, that with them it could take literally years of therapy to speak again. And unfortunately, our insurance and our healthcare system could not and would not ever support such an endeavor. So think about it. If we wanted to provide a person with 10,000 hours. Now, this is a profound problem of therapy. At 8 hours of stimulated conversation per day, that could equate to 3.5 years of speech therapy. Now, where can a person with a speaking difficulty receive up to 10,000 hours worth of speech and language stimulation? It's not going to be at a clinic. It's not going to be at a hospital. In fact, a hospital and a clinic would never see anybody for 3 or 3.5 years because nobody can pay for it. The insurance company can't pay for it. Medicare won't pay for it. And certainly most average Americans could not pay for it. So where could we provide a person with a very severe problem, speech therapy, where they could receive up to 10,000 hours? Guess what? There's only one place, and that's at home. At home, that's right, because our healthcare system just can't afford it. So the only alternative would be that the loved one or the caregiver receives training in the methods of speech and language stimulation that would be appropriate for their loved one, so the work started by the speech pathologist can be learned at home. In other words, the caregiver or the wife or the husband or the loved one can learn expert speech pathology methods to help a person speak again. And that's why I have written the book, Be in Conversation, The Teaching of Talking. Now, how will you know if your loved one will be appropriate for this method? You should seek the services of an expert speech-language pathologist and find out through a speech and hearing evaluation. The best way to use our method would be under the direct supervision of an expert speech-language pathologist familiar with our method. There is also a screening test in our new book, The Teaching of Talking, that will give you an idea whether our method would be right for you, or your loved one, or your client. You know, the philosophy of our work is revolutionary, and you can see the truth in this argument. Since I have been treating patients for over 40 years, I can make this statement, and I know it's true, that there are no quick fixes in speech-language pathology for stroke, aphasia, or head injury when the individual has a moderate to profound speaking difficulty. Rapid recovery is rare with this population. Trust me, it could take 10,000 hours of easy and fun verbal interaction that you can learn with the Be in Conversation method presented in our book, The Teaching of Talking. It can be as easy as just talking to the person with the speaking difficulty in the Be in Conversation way, and doing that all day today, tomorrow, and next year and beyond if necessary. Our method requires that you ask the person with the speaking difficulty lots of questions that follow a very systematic structure. That structure will be dependent on the level of speech difficulty and the number of words your loved one or client typically uses. Your questions could be used all through the day to get your loved one or client speaking about everything that he or she does, or what they like or don't like, or where they might like to go, and you will ask questions that pertain to how they feel or what fun activities they'd like to share in. You can ask them who they might want to see, or what they might like to eat or drink or watch on TV, and you'll be asking and talking about fun things that really light them up. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to share with you. You know, after 40 years in clinical practice, I now believe it's time to do just that. I want to make sure that you are an educated consumer who understands that you can change the life of your loved one or client. Please feel free to contact us at makerockstalk.com, and we would love to get to know you. And I remain very sincerely yours, Mark A. Ittleman, the speech pathologist who can make a rock talk. Thank you.